the suspense is drawn out so much, especially when you have a show like this that does, because not all shows now air week to week. Sometimes you can watch them all in one night and when they come out on a streaming service, things like that. So having that night to week feeling where it's like the episode ends and you're like, no, like I can't believe I have to wait a whole nother week. But for these kinds of shows, I think it's so great because it does create a chatter around the show. People can talk about with their friends. What do you think is going to happen next week? Who do you think it is? Have you seen any like fan theories that you have either like really loved or like thought was just so ridiculous?
Totally. Yeah. There's some incredible fan theories out there. And I'm honestly like, these people should be writers because there's some of them so good and so articulate and detailed. I'm like, how are you not a writer? But most of them right now anyway, because where we're at in the show have to do, and I don't know if you guys are at this point yet, but there is a name that has been dropped in the show and it's called Annabelle. And so
we're up to date. We're up to date. Okay. We're recording this on Tuesday. I'll be watching tonight. Don't worry.
That's so good. Yeah, it's funny because like everybody has like their own opinion of who Annabelle is,
right?
And how like Annabelle is like tied into the story. So the theories are kind of wild, and I don't know if I could say any of them without giving anything away.
Right.
But I do think that a lot of people, because with psychological thrillers, and you guys know this, like you have to pay attention, like you have to watch like every
this one especially. Like you can't watch this show and be on your phone. You really can't, because you look up and all of a sudden it's a different year and you're like, wait, I definitely missed something.
Yeah, I know it's tricky, and honestly, like this genre is so hard to execute well, in my opinion. And so I think the way that this show is edited, from like the music to, I mean, it just like, I feel like it's executed very well. And I think that that's why people have become so invested in it, because you do have to watch it. It's not white noise that you just have on in the background. Like you have to like invest yourself into the story. And so I'm stoked that like people are coming up with their own theories. And what I love is like, that's what the cast and I did, because we didn't know the ending when we started shooting. So like every time we got a new script, we would all jump on the phone and we'd be like, oh my God, okay. So like, here's what I think is going to happen. Who is Annabelle? I'm going to tell you who Annabelle is because this is what my theory is. And like, it was like a constant like conversation. And I love that. I like thrive off of that. So I'm stoked that people are doing that and like having like this fun conversation off of it.
How
Definitely.
far off was your theory to what actually happens?
I was completely wrong. Yeah. I was wrong like 4 times though. Yeah. Like not like only once, like I was wrong like 4 times. So I don't know if this says like something bad about like my judgment of like how I watch television or films, but I was so wrong.
Or just how good the show is and how it just catches people off guard. Was anybody in the cast right? Did anybody get it? Or have you seen anybody online guess it right?
I've seen a couple people online, like they're on the right path.
Right. Because I feel like we're still not quite there. I think I need episode. So this is going to come out tomorrow. It's like this will come out Wednesday. So if you've watched Tuesday night's episode already, maybe you have a little bit more information. But I think like the episode tonight will help people kind of even more, because we're getting down the end now.
Yeah. So like the last 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Are going to change everything.
Oh boy.
And this is 7 tonight, right?
Yeah. I'm so excited. And I also love, like, people love the nostalgia, and, you know, it takes place in the 90s. So there's all these great references, and hearing like Mallory talk about Clerks and like her dad. It's all, there's like cool little drops in there that are really, really cute. And like, what did you guys, like, when you were using this technology that's in the 90s, you know, you're sitting at your desktop, you're in a chat room, did you have any idea what those things even were before you started filming this show?
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. I think I had an AIM account for like a hot minute.
Yeah.
But I had it on like a laptop. Like, I think I legitimately had like a MacBook Pro at the time. Like, I don't.
Right. This isn't like dial-up internet.
I didn't have a dial-up. Yeah, I didn't have a dial-up. I didn't have a Walkman. I had no idea how to use it. And then like even like the verbiage, like the language that was used, I think in the episode that comes out tonight. And the only reason I remember this is because I was so confused by it when I read the script. But I have a line where I'm like, oh, that's so fat. P-H-A-T.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I would like, what? That's so, it just so is, it's foreign territory to me because I just don't talk like that. And nobody in like my life talks like that. So it is like, it's wild. Like we really transport people back into that time.
That's
yeah.
so
and I think especially now, I mean, obviously people love any sort of nostalgia, but like 90s trends are just massive right now. That's all everybody's into, the way people dress on TikTok. So it's like giving us a show placed in the 90s. People just eat that up.
Yeah. The fashion on the show is so good too, that I feel like people are getting a lot of inspiration from it, like because you have kind of like that early 90s, like you said, like 93 is bright and there's fun colors and the visuals are so different, and then 95 is like good 90s grunge.
Yeah, the fashion on the show is everything, and I think all of us were so involved in the like styling process, and our whole wardrobe department just crushed it. And a lot of our stuff is vintage. It's like 90s vintage. That's so cool. And everyone like has their own thing, which I really like. I feel like even like in 93 with Kate and her two best friends, like the three of them dress so differently. It's not like they're the popular girls that all dress like the same. Like they have like their own style, which I really love.
Yeah, the whole thing is visually so cool. And like you just said, so you guys, you got the script, then had to wait it out, pandemic. What were you doing in that time? How did you spend the time waiting to get to filming?
Yeah. I mean, the first couple months were really weird. It was really, really weird because I wasn't auditioning. I wasn't reading anything. I was just kind of like doing nothing. So really strange. And then I kind of started making music again. And I sort of prioritized that a lot during the pandemic. And it was nice because I felt like I kind of banked a lot of things out. So when I went to film the show, I had all of this stuff in the music archive that I could just release while I was making the show. And I didn't have to stress about like making music while I was there and in the middle of a pandemic. So I kind of found a good rhythm, which is weird that I found it during the middle of a pandemic, but it definitely, I found like, I think I actually like found like my sound and my voice during the pandemic with music. So that was kind of like my main priority.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
exciting.
like, you know, as much as people struggled, obviously, there are a lot of people who are like, I really found myself because I actually had time to sit with myself and my own thoughts and just like figure it out, which is cool. And also just the fact that you knew you were going to be filming a show, like you had that in your back pocket, must have just felt super comforting as well.
Yeah, it was definitely strange because we thought we were going to go in March and then we got pushed. And then we thought we were going to go in July at one point, and then we got pushed. And then October was finally like, okay, we're doing it. And so after like July happened, I kind of had a few months to like really solidify a bunch of things. And you're right, like you're spending so much time with yourself. It's like, I live alone. So I'm like, and the reason why is because I'm with people all day long, and then I come home and I like to decompress by myself.
Yeah.
But I don't want to decompress all day long. Like that's not fun.
It gets dark.
So,
yeah.
For sure.
Really dark. And it was, yeah, you're right. It was really challenging. And I feel very grateful to have like found and then it was just a reminder too that I love what I do so much, that it didn't like draw me away from being creative. Like it actually made me more creative than it ever had.